Yes, we're live now. And I believe we are live. We are back. As ever, entering a really smooth entry into our beginning of the show. Welcome, everybody, back to Extra Tyne. You join me, a very sweaty Roger, a lot sweatier than I normally am. Although I am quite, desperate guy. And I can see we are joined. We are fully international today. We have Laura, who's in Costa del Felling. We have Iain, who's in Rio de Blythe.
Caravan.
I think. Is it Blythe you're in?
Not in Blythe. It wasn't.
And Scott is joining us from sunny Amsterdam. You might notice I'm a little bit jittery. That might be to do with the Desperado, but it also might be to do with the internet connection. So I do apologise. Laura, how are you enjoying your summer holidays so far?
Yeah, really good. It's just nice to be off. I'll be better tomorrow night when there's football on to watch. I think I'm a bit lost without it. I'm ready for it to be back, to be honest. But yeah, enjoying it. Apart from I'm poorly, so I don't have me Moretti tonight. I've just got me water.
Well, fresh from the gym, you've got to rehydrate, Laura. So I'll accept that. And I've got my bottle of Sola, Ibiza's #1 water brand. Scott, how are things in Amsterdam with you?
Things are good. It's probably just as hot here at the minute. I think yesterday it was 29 degrees when we were recording the match preview, and it was like 9 o'clock at night. So it's muggy. It's not very nice, but we're surviving. We're just surviving. Brilliant.
Well, just remember, just stay cool. And I'm noticing that top. Is there any Castori sort of? Is there any mistakes on that shirt? Has it got the sponsor on? Has it got?
No, the only mistake was that they didn't
fully
ship
legit?
it to us, so I had to order it from JD Sports once they got them in over here. It takes about a month. But yeah, apart from Castor not delivering, the shirt's actually, there's no problems with it at all. Although I do have the third shirt. It's the same size, but it fits us a lot better. So I don't know if it's a different material because of the print on it or what. But the home top's a little tight around the arms, shall we say.
Brilliant. And Iain, I see we have a special guest who's joined us there, donning his Brazilian flag. Iain, how are you? And how's little Joey there?
We are extremely good. It's been a very hot day in my mum's caravan, as you can see. Now we're in where did we go today? Northumberland Zoo. Yeah. Went to Northumberland Zoo today. Seen some animals, so we're living it up in Wallsend. But no, we're good. And obviously, special guest Littlin has been banging on about being on a podcast. And you can see he's all kitted out. He's got his scarf here as well. And he's very excited for the season, aren't you? Yeah. Do you want to go and play some beauty now? Yeah. Right, go on then. See you later, mate. You're not going to shut the door? But yeah, there we go. But yeah, so it's great to be back. I've missed you.
I know, same.
Absolutely.
Mate, I am having a nightmare here. I did not hear a word of that. So I'm sure it was all very... I'm just pulling him up a little bit because I actually didn't hear a word of that, Iain. So I'm going to trust by Laura and Scott's reaction that you didn't say anything too controversial. And you haven't sent Joey out of the room because he was naughty.
No, he just wanted his 5 minutes of fame, and he's happy to go play some video. Is he gone again?
I don't know.
Is he back again?
Oh man, I literally cannot hear a word that Iain's saying. Oh, this is a nightmare. Absolute nightmare. I'll tell you what, I'm going to log out and you log in. Scott, can you encourage our followers to like and subscribe and do all that while I just log out and log back in again, mate? I'll let you take the wheel.
So whilst Roger is sorting out his Ibiza internet, yes, obviously this channel wouldn't be what it was if it wasn't for you people watching live and also you people who watch afterwards. As always, if you do like this content, you can always hit that like button. You can always hit the little bell icon to be notified when there's something new on the Gallagher Shots YouTube channel. We've got a whole host of content already this week, and there's already been a whole host of content coming up for the weekend ahead as well. Myself and Iain, we recorded a match preview for the Nottingham Forest game. We were joined by Matthew from the FPL show and Harry, who is a regular on the match previews. And speaking of the FPL show, there's also an episode of that went out this week. And also, there's the interview that Daryl did with John Anderson, which I haven't yet seen all the way through. I did edit the video, so I was catching bits of it, but I haven't been able to watch it all yet. But
I listened
Iain,
to it. It was good.
You've watched it, and you've watched that as well. Yeah, is that a good one?
Yeah, it was a good one.
Yeah.
Me dad thoroughly enjoyed it. I think it was a good, like, I enjoyed it, but as well, like, I think it appeals to the older viewers because he's a very good talker. Like, Daryl was good interviewing him, but he didn't need to really ask much because he was just he was a good talker. I enjoyed it.
He is a commentator, so it does help being a good talker as a commentator, to be fair. But yeah, like I've said, if you do like all this content, hit that like button, hit the little bell, and smash the subscribe button as well. We're aiming for 8,000 by the end of the year. We're currently on 7,800, so there's not that long to go. So if we can get to 8,000 subs by the end of this year, that would be fantastic. A good way to top the year off. And what a year it's been. Is Roger back? I don't know if he is or not. He seems to have stuck a little bit. And also, obviously, if you like this content more than most or more than others, you can also subscribe and be a member of the Gallagher Shots YouTube channel. It's $2.99 and $4.99 a month, depending on what tier you want. Benefits of that, obviously, you get early access to all these videos that we've been talking about. The interview that Daryl did was available for a week prior to it going live to everybody. The match preview went out as well. And there's also the FPL show went live for members 24 hours before everybody else got to see it. Yeah. You also get access to... Yeah, sorry, Iain?
I was going to say, you also get the My Uniteds. Just speaking of Ando, his was on to members, I think, a few days before it went out to everyone else. Always an interesting watch, the My Uniteds. I love them ones.
Yes, and we do have a new one that went out today, which is... who was it again? I'm trying to remember who it was. It's gone. No, Lee. Lee from the NUFC Trust
Lee Foster
did his. Yes, Lee Foster's. That's it. He did it as well. So that was also a good one. That's currently live for members. Like I said, you'll get access to that if you sign up for $2.99 or $4.99 a month. And also, obviously, I know we bang on about it every single week, but you get access to the Telegram group. And there's been a lot of transfer mumblings going on over the past couple of weeks. There's no ITKs in there, thankfully, but there's a lot of good stuff going on there. And I think we may have lost Roger. He is very frozen. Maybe he's having a frozen sangria, and that's why he's not.
Love his towel.
He's not responding.
His beach towel's phenomenal.
That is a good towel, isn't it? I would love to know where he got that from, because I think he's got another one as well. Anyway, we will move on with Roger being frozen.
It might be a nice quick one tonight then, seeing as Roger's frozen.
Now's a chance to get with Jibes in, because he cannot respond.
It is, and he's also in a different country, so it's even easier. Anyway, the season obviously ended on a high. Was it 11 games that we kind of pulled back from the clutches and ended the season up in the heights of the Premier League, kind of mid-table, which who saw that when Christmas came around. But we've had a good pre-season. We talked about it a little bit yesterday, but we'll talk about it a bit more. Obviously, there's been a good few games that have been taking place pre-season. There was the behind closed doors against Gateshead. There was the two out in Austria against, and I can't remember both of them. One was
60 Munich.
Yeah, 60 Munich and Mainz. I won't say Mainz, but it's not Mainz.
Mainz
is the French one. Did you watch any of those games? Obviously, the Gateshead one. I think you got a sneak peek, didn't you, Ian? Yeah, you
I
lifted a
did.
little Joey over the fence.
I channeled my inner Adam P. And to be honest, I was actually just going up to Asda and Little and asked about the training ground. So I went round to see it. And he was absolutely thrilled because Big Dan Byrne waved at him.
Wow.
But for what you could see, because I used to sort of cycle up that way as a child. They've basically cut it off, so you can't really say anything. But from what I did see, it was good. Enjoyed it, and then obviously the 2 games out in Austria, was it?
Yeah, Austria.
Were on. Wait, all the friendlies pretty much were on UFC TV. So had me little fix of Newcastle United in the off season.
Yes, and we had quite a colourful commentator, shall we say, for that first pre-season game. He seemed to like his Wikipedia entries, and
his
Botman
buzz phrases.
As fit as a salmon, wasn't it?
Lean as a cat.
Lean as a cat. That was it. I don't know where the salmon came from. Maybe
a lot of stinging blows in the game as well.
There was. It was good. And then obviously we moved over to Portugal, where we played Benfica in the I can't remember the name of the cup that they put out.
Eusebio Cup.
Eusebio, that was it. Yes, and that was also an eventful match. Did you catch that one, Laura?
Which one was that again? Because I don't really.
the one where Joe Linton got sent off.
Red.
Oh yes, I did have it on, but again, like, I'm gonna sound not stupid, but I don't take much interest in pre-season. I don't feel like it gives you a true reflection. I think you get carried away. I got carried away. I feel like Miggy was absolutely fantastic in that one. He's going to be a world beater next season. So no, I wouldn't say I enjoyed them, but like Iain said, it gave us a little bit of a football fix. I had every single one on the laptop, but I didn't necessarily take that much interest. I take it with a pinch of salt. I think Miggy looked good. Anderson didn't look out of place. And it's given Eddie Howe something to think about, I think, which is always good. And I know you touched on it last night, but it is always good to have a selection of players in each position that you can choose from. So apart from a striker.
Absolutely.
Well,
and I do think that Benfica took it a lot more seriously than anybody else did. There was a lot of favoritism, shall we say. I'm not going to get in the bad books like Isaac Hayden did last season, but there was maybe 1 or 2 choice decisions, especially that corner, which never was, which ended up Joe Linton getting his first yellow of the game. That was interesting. And then obviously we finished off pre-season with a behind closed door game against, was it Burnley? And which was weird, because was it 2 games? Was there 3 games? I kind of figure it out.
I think I worked it out, but it might be wrong. I think there was 2 simultaneous games, and then at half time, I think they switched opponents, but then there was changes within the teams. No idea what's going on with my hands here. But I think we won both of them.
Underneath, haven't you? I think I've seen about 6 different scores as well. I heard like 5-0, 4-0, and then I think Lee Ryder said it was 2-0, and I honestly couldn't tell you what happened. But again, apparently some really good performances. And then the last weekend was the back-to-back double bill of Atletico Bilbao. I don't think they go by Atletico Bilbao anymore. This was Club Atletico, isn't it? And Atalanta. We will talk about Atalanta in a couple of minutes. So, Iain, you think you took the little laddie to was it the Bilbao game?
It was me. I was in York, but my brother took the Bairns. They thoroughly enjoyed it. You know what it was? I was absolutely, because I took Joey to his first game last season against Liverpool, and then he went to the women's game, who were playing the day after, which was a bit more exciting because it was goals. So I was absolutely buzzing that they scored for him. He sung his heart out as well. Apparently he never stopped for 90 minutes, which is what we want. And a nice new breed of fans coming in, just being absolute hooligans.
New singers, absolutely. And Laura, I think, did you get to either of those games?
No, I didn't. I watched both of them, but I didn't I didn't even attempt to get tickets, to be honest. I'm not a true fan, you see.
It's a bit crazy getting tickets at the moment, as I think
Oh God,
today's
yeah.
antics in the group chat have shown, trying to get those final Nottingham Forest tickets that went live at 1 o'clock today, with some
It was
success.
dead sly, that wasn't it? I never
It
even
was good.
see it.
Yeah, they didn't announce it, but they just kind of dropped it on everyone. Like, by the way, 1 o'clock, get on the website. So obviously, another thing that happened in pre-season was some incomings and some outgoings of the club. We'll talk about the outgoings first, because I think a lot of videos tend to focus on the new blood, but let's just reflect on who's parted ways with the club. So obviously, Isaac Hayden was the first one out the door. That was really early, and I kind of feel that was before the window started. That was all kind of announced, and he was gone. So he went to Norwich, which I think Isaac Hayden, when we did the keep, sell, or a loan video during the pre-season, if you haven't seen that, by the way, it is available on the Gallagher Shots YouTube channel. Isaac Hayden was the one that we all kind of thought, yeah, it's time for him to move on, but he's been such a good servant to the club. It's almost a shame, and I know we've touched on this at previous Extra Tynes, that maybe the whole sentimental piece is something that we need to move away from when it comes to these players. I personally think we're not going to see players stay at this club as long as we have done in the past. I think 3 to 4 years could be, maximum for some of these players. There will be the odd one or two that'll stick around a bit longer. Some of the players that are here for the future, like maybe Bruno and Botman, but some of these players that are coming in may just be there to fill little gaps until we improve, like we've seen with other clubs. Iain, your thoughts on Isaac Hayden leaving the club?
I think the time was right for him. I think, to be honest, last night, after we did the match preview, I was watching the old Extra Tynes, just because I was really rusty yesterday on the old match preview. But no, I think everyone said that he was very, very good servant for the club. Obviously, there was that period of maybe about three seasons ago where he wanted away. He was still in the sort of definitely in the match day squad in the starting 11, and he fully committed to what he needed to do on the pitch. So got nothing but respect for Isaac Hayden. Obviously, it was possibly a tough time for him personally, which is I think why he wanted to move. I think it was back down sort of Midlands way. I'm sure it was. Can't remember. But yeah, very, very good professional. Wasn't a world-class player, but definitely not a so we didn't have to carry him. He put himself about. Good professional. I think he'll do well at Norwich. Obviously Norwich are a club, with no disrespect to them, they are one season in the championship. So he's back.
He's back.
I'm back. Thanks to Vicky sorted us right out there.
Oh.
So there we go. Hello, everybody.
We don't need you now.
Yeah,
We're doing
I
great
know.
without you.
I will have to say, actually, Scott's doing all right without you. You don't
Very
really
well.
need you. I've undone an extra button.
Another
as well.
one.
Another one as well.
Stressed.
Oh,
trying to bribe her to get back into the show there, Roger.
Yeah, exactly. But thank you very much, guys. I really do appreciate it. It is a lot better now. I should have just stopped. I should have just went with my phone straight away. You know what I mean? Like our Connie's iPad is like jammed up with like random pictures of her with like selfies and like.
Remember when you used to do
that
with like disposable cameras, just to use like you took a disposable camera on holiday and like so you had your holiday pictures and you had like 3 left, so they were just like on there.
Yes,
pictures of the dog normally pictures of the dog, pictures of the car.
I remember
like the takeaway you had when you got home.
I remember when the most exciting thing about a camera on holiday was when somebody had an underwater camera, like one of them Kodaks with like an encased like plastic thing all around it. Yeah, like absolutely incredible. Scott, you might have to take over the comments because I can't actually access them on the way I've logged on. So you can be my comments guy.
Absolutely.
Right, I think he's talking about Isaac Hayden, and I think you talked about the friendlies and at the start of the season. I did catch those bits and pieces. Talk about everything. Everything's basically covered.
Coming back in, thinks he runs the show.
I know. Hey,
I'm in the host spot now as well.
You are?
I'm Tony Soprano, you know what I mean? So I've got my
Somebody
shirt
said
on.
that.
I know. before we, I hope Scott might have already done this. Oh, I've been promoted.
Just like the
Scott might have
Commonwealth
already
Games,
done
I'll
this,
pass
but
the baton
make sure,
over.
Scott, I'm sure you've done the like and subscribe, but thank you to all those people
Yep.
who've logged in and joined us today in the chat. I really, really appreciate it. And all the comments, keep them coming through. I'll try and keep it as smooth as I possibly can. You know me. There's always a little bit of randomness going on. So this is just, part of it. And by the way, do you like me? I thought you'd appreciate me scarf here. Me
Oh,
towel.
is it a scarf? Oh,
No,
towel.
it's me towel. So
That's a big
these
scarf.
towels. I've also got a Bruno Guimaraes one as well, a Brazilian flag, and it's been adorning every beach, every pool that we've been around, every water park we've been to. Many years ago, when I first went on holiday with our lass, I packed my Newcastle towel very discreetly away, and I thought, right, when we get there, I'm going to unveil it, So I thought, we're on our way to Formentera Beach, which is quite nice in Ibiza. Nice bars, restaurants, quite a bit posh, quite a lot of like these massive super yachts pull up. So I thought that's the day to get the Toon towel out. So as we got in, we swam into Formentera Beach, and we got it ready, got it out, and our lass was just like, "Oh my God, where has that come from?" But now she absolutely embraces it, and it's only taken about 11 years, 10, 11 years. Do you know what I mean? So that was a present, and the other one was a present as well. I think we got them off the internet. So heads up to Faz and to Sean for getting me two towels. So I digress. I digest. So I think you've already done. I'm sure, Scott, you've just given a shout out for the Forest preview. I've just finished. Just before we came online, I finished listening. That was really, really good.
Yes.
And of course, Matty there from the FPL. I know. I did try and start to get into the FPL crack, but I sort of, after changing my team about 4 times last season, I kind of just drifted away. Are any of you going to be entering a team into the Fantasy Premier League?
I'll do the same as I do every year, where for the first 4-5 weeks I'll pay attention and then realise that I'm never catching whoever's above us.
Yeah.
So just
Yeah.
I think I've still got
I think-
Jermaine Genius in one of my teams.
I think Chris has the best team name of bored by November, and I think that's typically what happens with football, fantasy football.
What was the team name? What was the team name in the group today that somebody put? Oh, what was it? It was absolutely genius.
Daryl, no, he's floating around in the comments. We'll get Daryl to post it in the comments.
Yeah, it was
still.
somebody had an absolutely brilliant name for the team. It might have been that guy. It might have been something to do with the fullback from Brighton who's might be going to Chelsea.
Oh, it's under my Cucurella.
Under my Cucurella, Ella, hey. Just before we kind of carry on with the Newcastle crack, I'm not sure. Hopefully he's watching. But Raza is in the Freeman. I know he's watching along. His little laddie's in the Freeman. Had an operation very recently. So best wishes to Raza and to Doris and to little Ella, and of course to Liam, who's an absolute fighter. So they're up in the Freeman. So hopefully Raza's watching us now. I'm sure he'll catch up later because he's got plenty of time to spare. So get well soon and hopefully be on the mend.
Absolutely.
He's the one who's got me. He's the lucky one who's got me ticket for the match on Saturday. He's got the Forest game and the Man City game before I'm back from my holidays. So anyway, let's go random. So we did just before we came on air. Actually, about an hour ago, NUFC TV released an interview with Eddie Howe. Now I know you might not have get to catch it, but I'm sure Laura, Scott, and Iain, you've been checking out some of the pre-season videos, and they've really, I mean, I think we've said this for ages, they've really stepped their game up, haven't they, in terms of the content that they're putting out. I mean, the Grand Prix racing in Austria, and then all of the little sort of, the little videos, little interviews that they've done. But I think we can all safely say that during the holidays, apart from moving his family up from Bournemouth or wherever they've come from, Laura, have you ever seen a man as absolutely hench as Eddie Howe? Is he our most hench manager ever? Laura, what do you think? Being quite a fitness freak yourself.
Yeah, I feel like he's been coming to my gym twice a day, like I've been doing. He's definitely been taking part in pre-season, definitely. He looks good. I think. I feel like I would do the same though if Jason Tyndall was my assistant, because I'd feel like I would have to like.
Would that be for different reasons, though, Laura?
What?
I mean, I don't.
And his family's up with him now. He was saying in the interview, you don't need to. He doesn't need to impress Tyndall.
Yeah, he might be in competition with Tyndall. But if you were the manager of Newcastle and Tyndall was your assistant manager, would you be impressing him because you might fancy him a little bit, Laura? Is that a possibility? Do you have a bit of a thing for Tyndall?
Both, definitely I have a thing for Tyndall. I think he's beautiful, but if I was Howe, I'd feel a bit inferior, so I'd feel like I had to step it up because he looks more bronzed. Eddie Howe looks more bronzed. He looks more muscly.
He does.
He just looks definitely in shape. He's had a good summer.
He has had a good summer.
They've all had a good summer. Shelby, everyone.
Yeah, he did. Shelby in particular came out looking quite lean.
Lean as a cat.
Lean as a cat. Iain.
Yes.
I know you like to press some. You like to push the envelope and max the power. I don't know what these phrases are, but what do you think? How benches? What do you reckon? How many kgs is he lifting?
I don't know, but he's grown into his hats as well, hasn't he? I noticed
he has,
his hat didn't look as big.
Yeah.
It didn't look like a sombrero. But no, he's in really good nick. Maybe he's doing that trick where he buys his clothes a little bit smaller so he looks bigger.
Yeah,
I go the opposite way.
That's just the Castor fit.
Yeah,
that's Castor. He's buying them bigger and they're coming back smaller. That's the problem.
Scott, let's not get you started on Castor. How long did you wait for that shirt? How long?
Well, I didn't actually get it from Castor in the end because, like I say, I cancelled the order. I went with JD Sports here because they ended up getting them in for both of them. Took a month. Each one took a month.
Have you seen the new Twitter account that is Castor mistakes or something like that?
Failings of Castor. Or something.
Failings of Castor. Yeah. I do really, because I do actually when the products, it is quite good when it's good, but these inconsistencies are getting very, very annoying. Very annoying indeed. Very annoying. So, just kind of diving into some of the things that Eddie Howe talked about during his interview. Laura, he did mention about, the interviewer did mention, I think it was Six Smith, was talking about a renaissance of Miguel Almiron. And now I know he's been much maligned by a lot of the fan base. And he to a lesser extent than Alan, he's not as divisive, but people say, he runs around a lot, but actually what does he produce? Laura, do you think if we're not going to get this right-sided midfielder or this extra player that looks like we're trying to pursue, do you think Almiron and Fraser, do you think that we've got enough in that position, and do you think Almiron's going to start the season? He's started pre-season pretty well.
Yeah, we touched on it before when you weren't here, that I think I'd have got a bit carried away with Miggy in pre-season, and I think I feel like if we look back at all the extra times, I'm going to be a complete contradictory. Hypocrite. And change my opinion, but I'm very, very fickle. Football fans are, and I will change my opinion, and especially with Howe as the coach. And I think he deserves maybe one more season. And I think he's definitely, I know Iain touched on it last night on the match preview, he's earned his place on Saturday. And I know you said not to tell you about anything, but he is going to be my watch for the season, if you like, because I am a bit excited about, and I feel like you're saying, it doesn't look like we're going to get that right-sided player before Saturday, definitely, obviously. Hopefully before the end of the month, but you never know. If not, he kind of could be a bit like a Joe Linton and be like a new signing. Why not? And then Fraser's not exactly like a massive step down from that, is it? He still brings a lot. So I'm trying to be really positive, because before the takeover happened, we all said it's a long process, trust the process. We'll have to be patient. And I think a lot of work, including myself, and I understand why people are getting frustrated, but we need to take a step back and just think we've improved. I was looking at the lineup for the West Ham game, first game of last season, and it is as much as there's a lot of the same players, they're all better, they've all improved.
Yeah.
So I think we need to chill out and just trust Eddie Howe and trust the team.
Trust the process.
I was going to say, and I stopped myself.
Just chill out and trust the process, man. Hey, Laura, you need to get yourself over here to Ibiza, man. You to talk. Everybody's chilled, man. Everybody's chilled. Right. Scott, so talking about that, that, I mean, I don't necessarily think it's a void, but I think it is, we are looking for an upgrade in that sort of like one of those attacking positions. A lot's been made of Elliot Anderson, and Eddie Howe was asked in the interview about his availability and his viability in that position. Scott would be, given that he doesn't take up a squad place, what's your thoughts on Elliot Anderson and staying with the squad? Would he stay for the first few games, maybe, and then maybe find a loan, or what's your opinion on that one?
I think if Howe's going to use him, then I'm all for letting him stay here and letting him build. But if we do bring a right-sided midfielder in, then really Elliot Anderson's probably going to be third in the picking order on that left-hand side behind Maxi and possibly Fraser.
Yeah.
So if that happens, I think Elliot Anderson would benefit from, and I think Chris touched on this in the Stick or Sell video that we did, a 6-month loan in the Championship. Get him away for half a season and bring him back at Christmas and see where we stand there.
Yeah.
Or send him away for the full season. But I think, he hasn't looked out of place like everyone's been saying. He's actually looked pretty decent, and I think he's probably one of the standout from pre-season. Him and Bondswell. Is it Bondswell or Bodswell?
Yes, Bondswell. Yeah.
I don't think he's quite ready yet. You could tell when he came on, Richie was covering him a lot in that last game. But I think he should definitely go away on loan. But Elliot Anderson, to come back to him, I mean, I think he'll probably get a few minutes in the first few games, and then by the end of the transfer window, we'll probably get a decision. Probably on deadline day. It'll probably be one of those ones that we always seem to see where, this youngster has been playing. I think it happened to Matty Longstaff a couple of seasons ago where he started playing and then we just send him out on loan. It's like, okay, we'll see him when he gets back. So it all depends really on how he wants to use him. I know he spoke very well of him today in that interview, but I don't even think he knows what he's going to do yet. I think it's 50-50. Yeah.
And what I like is that, in the past, Iain, we've brought in sort of young players, Armstrong, who's now at Southampton, and we've kind of had to throw these kids in hoping for the best, whereas it looks like, I mean, I saw the extended highlights of the Atlanta game, which Elliot Anderson played in, and he looked really confident. Like, what's your stance on it, on Anderson?
If I'm honest, I seen he was doing really well at Bristol Rovers when he was on loan there. I always thought, obviously, because that was League Two that he was in. I think even sort of from League One, League Two to Championships, a massive step up in quality. Yeah. But he's definitely not looked out of place. And I think the game against Benfica as well. I thought he played quite well. At Atlanta, he grew into the game. I think what might be going through his mind is obviously with what position the club is at the minute, where they've just been taken over. There's an expectancy in the next couple of seasons to bring in world-class stars. He's thinking, well, this is really my biggest shot to prove that I should be here, that I deserve to be here. He's only, I think he's 19.
Yeah.
Obviously, I know it's a massive stretch, and I'm not saying he is the same player, but if you look at the likes of Phil Foden, who comes through sort of Manchester's academy, and where he's at now, like, could he potentially be our Phil Foden? But I've been very, very impressed with him. It wouldn't be the worst thing if he stayed. Definitely not. But I agree with Scott. I think in terms of if someone does come in, it possibly puts him down the pecking order.
Yeah.
And I think obviously he needs consistent game time. So I think definitely for me, he would be best suited for a season in the Championship. That step up in quality and then try and kick on from where he's been pre-season. But definitely one to watch. I think he's really impressed me.
I think the importance of, touching on something which we're going to come on to with the predictions. I think, a cup run, League Cup, FA Cup. I think those competitions, if we can get, extended runs in those competitions, it could be really important for those players on the periphery, like Elliot Anderson. Just, we've never been in a position where we can say, I don't really like the phrase a cup side, but we have a team that actually, is how demonstrated by playing a game on a Friday and a game on a Saturday. We have got 2 11s that could, do a job or whatever. So, it is going to be interesting for Elliot Anderson, and, possibly a loan abroad might be really good for him in terms of his technical development. That might be something that Eddie Howe looks at. I think this loan, if it does happen, is really key for not just for his short-term future, but I think for his longer-term future. Because, like you say, if he could become this type of Foden type player for Newcastle, then, I mean, what have we got in our hands? That would just be absolutely amazing. So, yeah, there's definitely some time to run on that one, and we'll kind of wait and see. I think just going into a couple of the things that Eddie Howe talked about during that interview, we talked about not carrying a really big squad, and I think he's demonstrated with those 2 games back to back that we have a couple of 11s, and I think there's going to be some hard decisions to be made. I mean, I didn't see the 2 games. So which games did Lewis play in either of those, the friendlies? Did he play in the Atlanta game?
He's been injured, I think, hasn't he?
Right.
Him,
Okay.
Manquillo and Fernandez.
Yeah.
I think they've only just returned to training yesterday or the day, I think it was.
Yeah. Do you think there's going to be any sort of controversial, members of the squad left out when it comes to that naming that 24-man squad? Are we going to see another, is Lewis going to be left out again?
I forgot about him until you just mentioned him there, to be honest, so it wouldn't bother me. I think it, like we've touched on earlier, and you said, Howe has got a lot of hard decisions to make, and it is going to rock the boat, and he's going to have to rock the boat if we want to progress and we want to be as big and as successful as we want to be. He is going to have to leave the big names out sometimes, and the controversial leaving out of the of certain players, and that's just the name of the game, to be honest. And again, I'm repeating myself, but we can't be sentimental, and we can't be I feel a bit bad on Dan Burn that he just came in last season, did a brilliant job, and now it looks like, I know we don't know, but it looks like he's possibly going to lose his place.
Yeah.
So I'm a bit sad about that, but then you've just got to knock it out here and go
Well, I mean, I know obviously I listened to the preview that Scott did with Iain, Harry, and Matty from the FPL about looking at, will we change a formation? Obviously Botman's been brought in for a lot of money, but then I think you guys kind of talked about, well, you've got Trippier there, then is he going to be that Roman fullback up and down on the right hand side? I mean, I absolutely trust in Eddie Howe. I completely trust in Eddie Howe and what he's going to decide. But do you think we're going to see a bit of a change in formation, possibly to accommodate some of these players who've done well for us, Iain? Do you think we're going to see a change?
If you had asked us this before I seen the pre-season games, I would have said there's a strong possibility that will change tact. But I think from how it looked like he set up pre-season, I think he's going to stick with that sort of 4-4-3-3.
Yeah.
And again, it as much as we're saying it is a bit of a shame for the likes of Dan Burn, as a club in general, as a team, it's good. You've got good competition for places. So, say for example, Botman, because I'm just using Botman as an example because we've just bought him for 35 million. Say he gets injured, you're not worrying about, I've got to play Emil Kraft at centre half, and then I've got to play Jacob Murphy at right back. You've got players ready there just slot in. And Dan Burn, like you say, he wasn't a signing at the time to get excited about like the likes of Botman, but he's come in, he's done an absolutely fantastic job. So you would think that if the legs are heavy, or because remember as well, there's 5 substitutions this season as well.
Yeah.
So the likelihood is that you'll still get game time in some games, but it's a good problem to have rather than if you look at it from like an individual's perspective. But I would say that he's probably going to stick with the same formation, and then again that depends on who he brings in. First in regards to forward players. Yeah.
Scott, just one of the last things that Eddie Howe was asked about is about the start of the season that we had. Obviously, before he came last season, we didn't win in 14 games, and one thing he did mention, which I thought was really interesting, was he talked about a fast start, and I really think that Forest game, I really think we're going to come out the traps and really just, I think we're really going to go at Forest. They have had, how many? 74 new signings I think they've had, and they've spent like £685 million. And, there'll be some quality players in there that they've signed, but obviously it's they're playing at St James's. It's obviously going to be, I think you've talked about, Gallagher's, the flags have said, get yourselves in there really early because we're going to, they're going to do something really special. Scott, are you expecting a real harem scarum first 15, 20 minutes where we could hopefully, blow the tricky trees away?
I think so. I think, to be honest, though, first game of the season, I think every club comes out of the gates, 110 mile an hour and just tries to go at it because, everything's been building up to this day, and it's just a big release of energy that happens. So I think, like we touched on yesterday, I think, we'll probably go at Forest, but I also think Forest will bring it to us as well. I think it'll be telling the second half whether Forest can keep that up, and whether the faster pace of the Premier League kind of hits them. I know they've probably signed a lot of Premier League experienced players, but it's still, that team has to gel. They have to learn to play with each other. There's only so many preseason games. It'll be interesting to see who starts with Forest and how many of the old blood are in that starting lineup and how many of the new boys come in straight away. I think we talked yesterday a little bit about Jack Colback jokingly about kind of will he start and will he feature at all and what reception will he get? But there's every chance he does start because he's that experience. He is actually one of the ones who's got Premier League experience of the old lot, albeit not the best experience, but he has experience, right? Yeah,
so it is important. It is. Yeah,
I think the other thing to bear in mind as well, and we touched on this yesterday as well, was about the ball always having to come back into play really quickly. There's going to be 8 ball boys in the fourth official with a ball ready to chuck it on as soon as it goes out of play. There's not going to be none of this waiting for it to come out the crowd, waiting for a ball to be picked up. It's going to be like the Champions League. It's going to
be chaos. That at some point there's going to be like somebody from the coach is going to throw it back on. It's going to be because was it a Snickers advert where it was like multi-ball,
yeah.
I remember something like that. Yeah,
it's someone in the comments
will be interesting like that. Yeah. I think the one thing to pull from that was the Premier League said, look, a 90-minute game, you normally only got 55 minutes of actual in-game play, which was a shock to me. I was like, really? There's that much time wasted? So I think for some players, they'll be like, okay, I've been playing for 55 minutes and being able to get these little rests, get back into position. You'll see it all the time where a ball will go out of play and like a defender will carry it up the field with him while he gets back into position and chuck it behind him. There's no room for that anymore. It's going to be the opposition's going to have the ball there and then. So if you're not getting back, you've got to have someone to cover for you. So I think teams will fatigue a lot in the latter halves of the games this season. Yeah. But you've got 5 substitutes, so it evens it out, hopefully.
Yeah. Laura, I know just kind of going back to something we talked about just before there about sentiment and, we're not very sentimental here, are we, Laura? Yeah. But the last few days, there's been the links with James Maddison from Leicester City. Kasper Schmeichel has gone to Nice, which would be very nice for him. Leicester need a keeper. Martin Dubravka's possibly going to have his nose put out by, we're signing England international. Laura, do you think that Dubravka's going to go? Do you think he's going to hang around? Do you think he's going to wait until January and see, whether he's getting in the side? It's a real, because I do have a bit of an attachment to Martin Dubravka, since he's come in at Newcastle. What's your take on that situation, and how's it going to look?
How old is he? How old's Dubravka?
32 or 33,
32.
I think. Might even be a little bit older.
So is that like kind of prime goalkeeping age?
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, he's probably as good. I think at this point he's probably as good as he's ever going to be.
Right. I don't.
In my opinion, I would say.
Again, nobody knows. There's no ITKs or anything, but
we're more. I don't know than I.
I don't know. Yeah,
I haven't got IDK.
I don't think he's the type to sit on the bench. So I still also think there is a bit of up in the air about who is going to start on Saturday. I personally think he'll play Pope. However, I've seen contrasting views, and they think he'll play Dubravka. So I think, as right now, my honest answer is I don't know. Once we see the team on Saturday, I think if Nick Pope's playing, I feel like that is Eddie's way of saying he's my number one. And I personally then don't think that Dubravka will want to sit on the bench. I think he'll want to go elsewhere.
Yeah.
I don't think he's going to Leicester, though. I don't think we're getting Maddison. I just think that's gone.
Yeah, they've come out today and said he's not for sale, haven't they?
Which again,
usually that means the player leaves, but we'll see what happens.
Yeah. Everyone's for sale for the right price. It's just
and it's what it's really interesting watching, like, Twitter and stuff like that, and about like, why don't we just sign him? And it's so much more complex than any of us could possibly understand. Like, there's so many moving parts in these, these types of moves. So, me personally, I do hope we sign him, and I do hope we.
Me too. Yeah.
I do think he's worth. I think he's worth 60 million. Mm-hmm. I think.
When you look at what other teams are paying for other players who are not as good as him, I totally think he's worth it. And so I get, and I said earlier when you weren't here, I get why people are getting frustrated. Yeah. However, just keep it to yourself. Talk to your mates about it. Don't put it on Twitter.
If he does sign, and if we do sign a player that plays on that right hand side, I will be a little bit sad that the wee man doesn't get as much game time as he probably deserves, because he is my actual favourite player at the moment. So I love him, man. I just love the wee man. The guy who sits next to me gets. I'm like, the wee man. Every opportunity I get, I give him a big shout out. Anyway,
he's built like Shaqiri, isn't he?
He is.
Yes. Yeah, he does. He reminds
very
me
much
of
got that low centre of gravity, and he can.
He's a beautiful specimen. He's a beautiful specimen.
Before we move on, Roger, we have received a 50 Norwegian kroner super sticker from Roy.
Wow.
I'm
not sure what a super sticker is. We can't see it. I don't think what we use shows them. So if you're in the chat, you've probably seen it. But thanks for that, Roy, all the way from Norway. Well, I'm assuming Roy. So. He's paid in Norwegian kroner. So Roy.
I'm going to say skull. I think that's what you say in the Scandinavian parts. Skull.
Why are you mixing between bottles and cans?
He's going to be there. He does what he wants.
Yeah, I mean, Laura.
What you want. Sorry.
To coin a phrase. I'm on my holidays. Look,
I'll tell you what I want. Okay.
I've got my Panama hat, right?
Yeah.
And I'm on my holidays, and I'll, and if I want to slip a little bit of tequila in there later, I might do that as well.
I'm just jealous. Sorry.
No. So, moving on to, obviously, Forest is our first game, and can we hazard a guess? I know hopefully you've read me text message before, but maybe you might not have. How many years is it since we've won our first game of the season?
Ooh. Is it first game or first home game, or is that the same answer?
Just first game of the season.
It was West Ham, wasn't it?
Oh, yeah, 2 years.
3 years ago, West Ham.
Yeah, it was the game that I was going to pick,
Because we played them the first game last season as well, didn't we? Yeah. And I thought, we're going to do them, and then obviously what happened?
We have some weird we had patterns where we play like West Ham twice in a row, Man United twice in a row, Spurs twice in a row.
City,
Like,
I think I've seen on that list.
That fixture computer has never ever been kind to us, or very rarely been kind to us on the first game of the season. So, I think the last win before that was 2012, which is absolutely incredible. Yeah,
at home.
Yeah, Bar and Ben Arthur, those were the days. Just moving on, we're going to finish off just in a few moments, but we are going to do our envelopes today. All right. Well, I'm going to do. I've got one of Connie's drawn pictures here, which I've managed to get, and I'm going to do mine on the back of this. Hopefully, she's gone to bed now, and she's not going to come in here and kick off now. Scott, if you wouldn't mind putting the second graphic up, I think it's the second one's the first one, if you know what I mean.
I can only see one of them.
Please, in the comments, if you want, you can join in as well. Yeah, we'll stick that one up first, and then we'll see if we can get the other one up. Maybe if you try and upload it later.
Yeah,
maybe if you try and upload it. So, what I'd like everybody to do, Laura, Iain, and Scott, obviously, as well as anybody who's watching, get involved with the Gallagher Shots prediction for the season. Get yourself a piece of paper, get yourself an envelope if you're feeling that way inclined. And let's see if we can make some really insightful predictions. I know Laura will be all over this. She's going to make some really accurate predictions, I feel like.
Yeah,
I feel like yours are going to
be. I'm really confident.
So, without being really annoying and reading a PowerPoint, which I know is really annoying to a lot of people, so we want the top scorer for Newcastle, which might be pretty obvious, but you never know his injury record. Which teams are going to be relegated from the Premier League? Where Newcastle are going to finish in the league? Newcastle pause. Newcastle's surprise package, which I think Laura alluded to a little bit there. I know, actually, I've thought of mine during the show tonight. I might share it with you later on.
I want to know everyone's. Will you put it in the chat?
I might
I
do.
promise I won't change mine.
I might do.
And then I'll not scribble, I promise.
I might do. How far we're going to get in the League Cup? Now, we enter the League Cup in the second round. Which is always interesting to know. And we enter the FA Cup in the third round. And we usually leave by the third round, and we usually leave by the second round of the League Cup as well. But, I'm really hoping for, an impressive cup run.
Was the League Cup one this year when we got, was it the quarterfinals and then had that shocking game?
Against... No, Cambridge was the FA Cup.
FA Cup, yeah. Was it Brentford or something?
That was the season before. Burnley was we got knocked out on penalties against Burnley in the first round last season. Season before was we got to the quarterfinals.
Oh yes, because it was COVID.
Brentford played their B team and beat them.
Yes, I remember that now. It was COVID and we were all just watching in the house, weren't we? Yeah.
You are an absolute fountain, Iain. Thank you.
Also, really brushed up for this season. I want the content to be not just good, I want it to be great.
Exceptional.
Wow.
Well done.
I want to win that quiz again at the end of the year.
Also, we try and, obviously, with example of the teams relegated, we want to kind of think about the Premier League as a whole competition as well. So we want to know who your Premier League winners are going to be. Between Manchester United and Manchester City and Liverpool, clearly, because I don't think anybody else. There you go. Thank you very much. And Scott, thank you very much for doing those graphics. It's such I literally gave Scott 20 minutes to put this together, so he's done very, very well. Thank you very much, Scott.
Go back in. Hang on.
Yeah, go on. Go back.
There you go.
Right, League Cup and FA Cup. Right, and then that's fine. You can go on to.
It's in the group chat. Yeah, no, you're not prepared.
It is as well. Like.
Oh yeah.
He was too busy
relegated
Joey out the room.
Twice for some reason.
No, he's too busy doing his
20 minutes
research
notice
on 2 years ago, the League Cup.
PL winner.
Now, there we go. Yeah, so Premier League winner. Which teams will be relegated? Who is going to be the season's dark horse, as in the team, rather than a player that's going to be a dark horse? So which team's going to be a bit of a dark horse? Which is going to be the first manager either sacked or to leave their job? Frank Lampard. Sorry for that. Sorry, I just sneezed there. Who's going to be the Premier League's top scorer? and where are the mighty Newcastle United going to finish this season? So if you'd like to get involved, please feel free to do yours. Write them down or add them into the chat. I'd love to see them. I love finding out. It's kind of like that first day at school feel where you're just free to just do whatever you want because you've got that much time to make up for the crap that you do on the first day. So
and you get pushed in the bins by all the other boys. Oh, is that just me? That's just me.
Yeah, I was lucky if I got pushed in the bins. It was the toilets for me. Ian. I had a. But luckily, it didn't affect us in later life.
Look at we now, Roger.
Yes,
hosting
look at us now.
Not me. Look at
Yes.
you hosting Extra Tyne
Yes.
from Ibiza in a villa on a Thursday
Hold on.
night.
Let me just
Oh,
do another
no.
one.
Another one.
Oh, jeez.
Oh, the shirt will be off by the end. The shirt will be off. We're just about to hit sunset there. So absolutely beautiful. So hopefully you all get your predictions written down. I'm going to do mine once we go offline. But please keep involved with it in the chat and write yours down, and we'll share them later on. And all the lads and lasses from the Gallagher Shots family are also going to do theirs as well. So it's always interesting to see. There's always somebody who gets it almost bang on. And my reckoning, I'm going to go with. I think Daryl's going to be probably the closest. I think he's got. When
you say dark horse, right?
Yeah.
Because in what because a dark horse you could
So which
Brighton...
team say for example Brighton last season or Sheffield United in their first season in the Premier League, who's going to perform
way above
way above their expectation,
right? That's probably the trickiest one.
We should do a lame horse as well, who's going to perform well below what they're like Everton, for example.
Everton, yeah, I was going to say everyone will pick the same.
Everybody's got it in for Everton there, haven't they?
I know, everyone's.
Yeah, me.
What was the one that was mad shit or something? That was the one that was.
No, that was where I stole it from. Your predictions of just some crazy stuff that might happen during the season.
More people cable tying themselves to goalposts.
Yeah, we'll do.
They don't get run over by Formula One cars.
Yeah, we'll do some stop oil.
They did that as well, didn't they?
Did you see the guy on the bike? Oh my god, that was absolutely crazy.
Was it where the bloke pulled the little girl in front of him?
Yeah, the little girl in front of him, yeah. Mm-hmm. Like a human shield. Oh, yeah, there'll be some serious conversations being had around the dinner table after that little escapade. Yes, so hopefully you've all got your little predictions in, and we'll seal those away. We'll maybe get them into the Gallagher Shots studio, and then we'll revisit those come May next year. I mean, it seems like so far away, but it'll be upon us before you know it. I think that's probably a good point to end our show today. I do apologise for our technical issues during the start of our show, but I'm so pleased that I managed to get back online. I've really missed doing these with you lot. It's been a little gap in our lives, but it's really good to see everybody again. And of course, thank you to all those people who've joined us in the chat. I'm just going to give a few people a little shout out. We've got Graham, we've got Freddie, obviously Roy, who's donated some money. We've got I did see him before. Somebody asked us if I was in Ibiza. I was in San Antonio. I think it was who was it? Somebody asked us where I was. Yeah. So, but thank you to all those people who've joined us this evening. Marty as well. Excellent, Marty. Good to see you back with us. I wonder if do you have a summer themed train set? Do you think he has rolling gold, fields of corn, and does he do a summer theme? That's what I'd like to know. So if you can upload one of those,
a
Marty,
palm tree.
Yeah, like palm trees and a little sort of maybe some cellophane for some sea and a bit of kids making sandcastles and that. I mean, I'd be very interested to see that. So
were you a Blue Peter presenter in your previous life, Roger?
Yes, and I did actually make Tracy Island. Yeah.
Wow.
Oh. Yeah. Yeah, man. Yeah, you get amongst it, there wasn't a lot going on in Lower Fell back in the day. You know what I mean?
You'd be well suited on Art Attack, I think.
Do you reckon?
Aye.
I mean, well, I'll tell you what I'll do is I'll colour this in and I'll show you I'll show you the next episode, right? I'll show you the next episode. In between
some PVA glue.
Yeah, PVA. So,
have you seen
thank
him? He's in a proper deathcore band, Neil Buchanan.
What?
Aye.
Yeah, he's a heavy metal.
I'm sure he's a
isn't he?
guitarist or something like that, aye? For like a proper deathcore band.
Shit. Oh, it was Davey Eddie. Davey Eddie who asked us. Yes, I'm not in San Antonio. I'm in Calatrava, Davey. I'm in Calatrava. He's in a death.
I do look a bit like Neil Buchanan.
Who does?
You?
Well, it's not me.
I mean, well, he's a handsome guy. What can I say? You know what I mean, he's a scouse
Definitely
guy.
not
Anyway, so
Now he looks like Teabag off Prison Break.
No, I think I could be. Could I not be Elton John?
Me.
You know, like
No.
you can never know
Elton
what
wrong.
it's like. Anyway, I like my hat, and I've been told I suit it by my beloved, so I'm going to keep wearing it. Anyway, so Scott, Laura, Ian, thank you very much for joining us.
I know exactly what you mean as well.
It's when he's in Panama.
Where he's got the hand.
Yeah.
But thank you very much for joining us this evening. And our thoughts and messages go to Raza as well. I'll be giving him a text after here and seeing how he's getting on. But join us next week after hopefully another a first victory. I know Ian and Scott, you've done your predictions already for the Forest game. Laura, give us a quick prediction for your for the Forest game. What do you think the score is going to be?
1-0 us.
However, lads, I'm going to go 2-0. I'm going to go 2-0. I'm going to go. Botman's going to score, and Botman and Wilson. There you go.
Ooh.
You heard us here first. But thank you very much for joining us. I really appreciate it. I really apologise for the technical issues I had at the start, but I know now. Use the iPhone. So next week we'll be straight onto the iPhone, and it'll be absolutely dollar. Okay. So thank you very much, everybody. Scott, you're at the controls, so you're going to have to end the show. So all we're going to have to do, we're just going to wave. Laura, wave. Ian, wave. See you later, guys. Have a really good week and enjoy the game wherever you're watching it from.